And hello. Welcome to Dank Live. Dan plus Tank equals Dank. Dank Live. We're here telling you about the DCR is not real. It's a big lie. Or updating you on where things are with Manna World Holding Trust and other things of interest in the overall changing of the world into abundance. So, are things good, I think?
Well, I can tell you that on a positive note that Kim has been able to bypass the compliance department at the banks, and she was able to land money directly in the account, which is always in the regular accounts, which has always been the goal. On a downside, the IT people at the bank immediately returned the money back to Kim. So now we have to deal with that. So anybody who's there in the IT department at the banks, firstly, I just want to let you know that you are returning money back to the one who actually owns the bank that you work for. And I'm not sure if that was an accident. That's my dream, that it was just a mistake. If it's a mistake, reach back out to her through the terminal that you did it, or however you did it, and let her know, like, oh, I'm sorry. And maybe we could just make it all right. In all likelihood, though, you're taking orders from people that are nothing more than slaves. And those people are not just slaves, they are your masters. So they are slaves and your masters. So they're slave master slaves. Um, and, they're not going to give you any money. They're not going to help you. They're not going to do anything for you. And I would highly recommend that you jump on Team Humanity, because the reality is that if you really look at what just happened, she just overcame their entire system by herself, and that is about to be magnified significantly. And I would highly recommend standing down and just letting those transfers go through and letting humanity thrive. You have absolutely no right to withhold this money from project owners and all of the people that will be helped by these project owners. We have already notified militias and ROTC all over the country. And believe me when I tell you that people are very much ready to go. They are starting to realize that there is a terrorist threat within our country, and it is certainly within our banks. And I did ask, because as far as I know, the military themselves, there is acts of terrorism taking place. This is actually goes back to a executive order that President Trump passed. I believe it was December of 2018, that made it an act of treason if any of the funds coming into the country were delayed, misdirected, or stolen, which obviously should have been act of treason anyways. Because especially when those funds are dedicated for humanitarian projects, which all of these funds are. So you are all guilty of treason, and I would highly recommend stopping to do that. Now, the problem is that the military, the police, the FBI, the CIA, None of them actually seem to do anything other than have meetings with Congress. They don't actually seem to enforce anything. So that's a very unfortunate reality that we live in. That being said, if that continues, then there's not laws that are actually enforced. I am very certain that it is in the Constitution that every state is allowed to have its own militia to defend against threats, both foreign and domestic. And if they continue to be a threat, it would end up being, a very hostile situation. I think that is in large part because they have been programmed so deeply to think that the Rothschild and Chinese elders are gods, and I'm sure they have done something very impressive. I want you to know that they are not gods, because the ones that they worship, there was 154 of them, and every single one of them died the same day, had their heads taken off and their hearts ripped out, and they are not coming back. So they are not gods. Just FYI to any of you guys out there. So that's kind of the state of the union I'm looking at the moment. And
Well, another back and forth. All right. Well, get the IT people to stand down. And don't they want to also have participate in project? IT people are creative. They should have ample projects that they'd like to do.
yeah, I mean, IT people have families too, right? IT people are people, regular people, and I'm for the people. All types of people. Um, but I'm very much, you know, I uh, I have absolutely no patience for this all of this behavior anymore. I think we are at the cusp of the world's greatest energetic shift, and to me, it's still, you know, like we're rolling down the street with tanks and jets and a whole army, and the crossing guard who, he's like special needs and steps out there in the midst and tells everybody to stop, and so we all stop, and that's the only thing keeping us from victory. That's how I feel, and it's silly to me, and I did tell him, that exactly. The IT department should not be enough to stop the U.S. government. The IT department should not be enough to stop um, the most powerful financial entity in the world. The IT department at any bank is not enough to stop the U.S. military. The IT department is not enough to stop all of the 32 races of galactics who live here on the planet, who have possession of all of the real weaponry that can easily take them out. The IT department is not enough to stop the millions of veterans who are able-bodied and ready to take up arms if need be against terrorists within our country. The IT department is not enough to stop the people all by themselves. And we need to start standing for that and realize how much power we have, and stop this nonsense of being afraid of what? Of what? They don't have ownership, they don't have authority, they don't have the right to even be in those locations. They are defying the one who actually owns the bank, and it's laughable to me, to be honest. I I don't even I told Kim, I said at this point I don't see how this diplomatic methodology is even effective in any way, because the reality is um, it's not even diplomatic. It's at the expense of the people, and every single time this goes on, they continue this to draw this out. You know, all they do is they go back to and they start plotting their next you know ridiculous plan, and they have all these secret things all over the place, and you know mind control. And well, we need to stop them from being allowed to do that. We need to shut down the media if that's what it takes. We need to stop them from poisoning the water so people aren't. And by the way, tomorrow night, we're gonna have a gentleman on who has been in the water treatment industry for 52 years, and he's traveled all over the world and has patented about 30 different patents, some of which are very, very valuable. And all of those could have changed to make sure that the entire world had fresh drinking water. And he has unequivocal proof that the the governments, the various corporations, they are willingly poisoning the people, because he has given them the information to tell them exactly, irrefutably, what the damage can be done, and they have done nothing with it. That by themselves is criminal negligence. It is crimes against humanity, and it's a tragedy that any of them are even allowed to stay in the place they're in at this point, as far as I'm concerned. So,
Yeah, well, they are keeping it up though. You know, they're still pushing their agenda. Well, I think we're making a lot of headway, and we're at the point where I think that we're going to see, things change because of Trump's making a deal in the UK, whatever that looks like. You know, there's going to be something happening on the legality side, but I don't think it's going to happen until after the 4th of July.
it's
You
all
know,
useless. All this talk is bullshit. You know what? It really is. Enough. You know how many Fourth of Julys, Easter Sundays, Christmas, all these stupid things.
I
The
know you're
fact that we're
having DCR flashbacks.
no, it's not. It's not
Not waiting.
because you know what? They still have done nothing. This isn't even a question. I don't care what pomp and circumstance and accusations. Oh my goodness, they brought out this. They finally. This is showing it's happening. What's happening? Here's what I know is happening for sure. There is suddenly a rash of suicides taking place. Who's been arrested? There's suddenly a bunch of murders that took place. Who's been arrested? What I see is the cabal is working very hard. I don't see us doing it. We're not arresting people. We're not getting money to the people. We are not making a difference. We are making noise. They're saying a lot of stuff, but the cabal, they're out doing stuff because they're killing people left and right. They're still trafficking little kids. They're still murdering people right now. Right now, that's taking place. Right now, Child Protective Services is pimping out children. Right now, so that is still in effect. But what are we doing? We're having big moments talking about stuff. So no, I'm sorry, Dan. I do not agree. There, and you know what? Whatever's happening behind the scenes, it's not enough. It's not enough because at the pace they're going at, they will still devour us. They will still devour us. If we do not come together and move as a collective body on some level, if we do not find a way to get through this, it will not be victory. There has to be more done. And I'm just holding them accountable, by the way. I'm not discouraged in any way. I know things are moving in the right direction. I'm just saying it's not enough. They need to accelerate. Now is the time. It's the last leg of the race. And if we're gonna win it, we gotta kick on the Jets.
And I think we're there. I found another little interesting thing that happened. There's a photo with Uber Aberdeen, Wiener, and I forgot her name now. The one Stormy Daniels, all at that sex call, all together. Does that lead quickly? It's like, oh wow, she was in the same sex call. She's now making accusations against Trump. So it's all tied together. It all comes out. So this is being revealed.
So
and their agendas.
You know what? They should go then. They've had this Anthony Weiner's laptop all this time. It's loaded and loaded with horrifying documents. For 4 years. You know how many kids have died in that time while they've been plotting their plan? Come on.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I get it, but if they try to do things quick and move them out, and they were not successful because they acted too quickly, they had all their the deep state cabal members in place to be able to defeat any of the actions that they brought forward. And they're walking the line of the legal system, and it moves slow. I mean, it just does. So I wanted to move fast too, but I think we're at that stage where we're going to actually see the evidence of things progressing now, but it's never going to be as fast as we want it though. Yeah, I agree. All this stuff has to stop. But if it's at this, if it means that then the whole effort fails because we rushed and took 100,000 sealed indictments and then ended up creating none of them went forward because we acted too quickly. Yeah, but anyway, we're at the stage. I think that everything's set. I mean, we are on the offense, and that was declared. The month of May was offense, and and we also see what's going on in with the UK. I was covering that with Serial Brain 2 earlier on the Frontlines episode, and really showing that we have our independence now, literally for the first time from England. What does that look like? Are we going to see the document when? Maybe for the 4th of July. Who knows? But probably as part of this whole evidence being brought out, so people can see what's been going on. I think that's important, to be seen. So,
Yeah, I'm sure there's a grander plan that maybe I'm just too simple for it at the moment. I don't know. I talk to I think sometimes when I talk to military guys and they tell me what they could do, and and they talk strategic planning and kind of how simple it would really be. It's a tragedy to me that we keep playing this game.
yeah.
This is like you know letting your kid win at basketball until they're like 25. I mean, I guess they could probably beat you by then. But if your kid beats you in basketball, like they're a little kid and it's cute and you let them score, right? And and then all of a sudden, they think that they can go pro, right? Because they beat you in basketball. It's like, the reality is I was just holding back, because you're my son and I love you, right? I just feel like this whole thing just reminds me of that. It's like, why are we still playing this game? Why are we still doing this?
And why are you being so soft on your kids there? Why are you letting them win, Tank? I don't get it.
No, I don't do that. Look, man, I'm rough. I don't care. I don't care who I'm playing with.
You slam them down to the ground.
Yeah.
A couple of elbows.
I'm like, toughen up, cupcake.
Hey, don't cry. No tears.
Nah, listen. I'm a big fan of letting my kids cry. I mean, I'll cry during a movie. I'm a softie like that. I just feel like you got to balance it. So
Yeah,
I never got with that.
Oh. Well, what else is going on? There's I had a interesting meeting here yesterday. I was working with someone who's very interested in doing the Bitcoin mining project that I put together, and they're actually miners. They actually mine literal minerals from the ground.
Wow.
That's kind of interesting. They want to get involved in a big way. So it's a very positive. Of course, we're dealing with Bitcoin. A couple other crypto projects seem to be everything's all getting hot again because Bitcoin's rising, right? Everyone's getting excited again. It's so that I think I'll be having to come up with. I'm investigating some new technologies also coming out. It's kind of a different form of open ledger technology called Hashgraph. No, it's much faster, different ways of doing things, but doesn't require all the bandwidth that the blockchain does. But it's an unproven technology at this point, but it is progressing. So a lot of interesting things happening on that front. I'm a little so I'll be doing some videos about these things coming up.
Cool.
Well, what else?
Did you see Don Lemon? He's a newscaster for CNN, black guy, and I just thought, what hypocrisy. He came out. He compared Trump to Hitler. Said he was a racist. Then he said the U.S. should have a ban on white guys because white guys are the real problem in this country. That's what he said. I
Right.
thought,
Now,
wow,
he's not racist, right?
yeah. So you just trumped Trump, his alleged racism by being not only racist but sexist. The problem is white guys in this country. What an idiot. You know what? I am so sick and tired of hearing idiotic comments like this to pretend like that's not racist. I mean, it's
Oh,
just as racist.
it's like CNN. They were covering the Trump rally, and they start saying CNN sucks, CNN sucks, and they pulled they dropped the coverage. They couldn't take it.
Well, and rightly so. I mean,
Right. Yeah, see, you just proved the
it's
point.
like, it looks like there's technical difficulties here. Wait a minute. Something's not right. Yeah, if you're chanting CNN sucks, that is kind of funny. That's a good reason to change the channel. Like,
Yeah. Oh, we're out of here. They can't take. Well, they lost so much of their audience. They're closing down their offices around the world. They're laying off, I think, 300 people in the U.S. That means they're fired.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, they're going to be down to just a YouTube channel pretty soon.
CNN. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. That would be great. I would love. Actually, no, I would love it if we could buy them up. I mean, they've got all that equipment. I'm sure they got a nice building. Um, I would love to go in and be like, really rally them together and be like, who else thinks that white guys are the problem in this country? And everybody that goes, yeah, I'd be like, you're all fired. Every one of you idiots is gone right now.
Oh, yeah. Something else I think we can cover a little bit of is, the GCR is happening again.
Hallelujah! Oh my God, Dan. Oh, I am. He's made my day.
You'll never guess how much you get for one Zim 100 trillion note. You never guess how much you get. They announced a rate. You actually can get a rate now.
You get a rate now. I
think it was $235 million. I might be wrong. I kind of like I was at a distance to the television it was playing. I was in the other room. I said, "Did they say 230 for one Zim note?" Yeah, because I wasn't. It's always the repeated information again and again. But they came out with that. I said, "Oh, really? They finally gave a rate." And they said, news. "Oh, it's all happening. It's all happening, and it should actually be completed by the end of the month."
Oh, it's great. It's great. It's all going to happen. It's all magic. Then we'll have the greatest 4th of July ever, I'm sure. Yeah. It's all going to be magic.
Well, so I really don't see how they can keep doing. Maybe just analyze the stuff that they put out every week and do like an update like once a week and say that this is the GCR the Big Lie episode every Friday or something. When do they do their information drops? It does seem to be like they're doing it at the beginning of the week. Might be.
The Chinese elders have a regular Thursday morning meeting in Hong Kong, and that's where they come up with the lie they will tell that week.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they come up with the plan. I used to get that fresh, right out of their treasurer's chat room, or their trustees' chat room. So I can tell you that's how it goes down. They all come together and sit around and Chinese elder talk. Like, oh, it's very serious. Paperwork.
I always imagine that they're all sitting back and they're wearing like Ming the Merciless clothing, right, with a silk hat, and then silk robes, and they have really long beards, down to their knees, all white beards.
Yeah, I wanted that to be what the Chinese elders look like. Actually, I thought that, like, the cool kung fu guys, that would be so awesome. And if they were just really wise and kind and benevolent, and they did incredible kung fu above the buildings, I would love that. I mean, who wouldn't want to hang out with the Chinese elders? Like, they're awesome, that version. But who they really are, Nope, not that. Not that.
No, not that. So what happens when the people aren't able to draw down the funds at the bank?
Off
They
their
get
heads.
eliminated.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like the Chinese elders are doing a lot of work for us. So, I mean, they're constantly taking out their own people. So, um, there was faction war, from what I understand. Like, they were all back and forth with each other. So, I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see how it all plays out. There's a.
Yeah.
I still believe we create the reality. So my belief is that you know what? Everybody just focus your energy, your collective energy, on the IT guys at the bank. Just allow them to have a change of heart. Focus on that. Just send your love to the IT guys. Let them know that they're killing people and they should change their course.
Yeah, the IT guys probably are probably the closest to, having really in touch with, being good people and most of the IT people I knew. I can't even remember an evil IT guy that I've ever known. Right? Everyone always had a good nature. Whether they were. God fearing spiritual type people, or they were, just in good natured overall. I can think there was maybe one or two, but they weren't really IT. They were pretend IT. Right? They just acted like they knew how to do things, but they didn't really know.
Interesting.
They ended up be like they end up like the heads of these companies, right? Yeah, kind of like Mark Z. Yeah. Yeah, he's just
Mark C.
he's just a cardboard cutout at our FB, social media giant, and they're not. Uh, they really they're how to say this. I don't know if they were abused like Mark Z was, but they definitely have this negative attitude. That's why I never include them in the tech, and even though they were like the heads of some tech companies that I knew, they just didn't fit, right? They didn't fit the mold. They were just not that.
Right.
Actually, I used to give a test. Now I wouldn't be able to do this test now for tech people because it's different. But we'll go back 15 years ago. I literally, in an interview, and I interviewed tech people to work with me on a project or something. I'd ask them some basic question. And one, I'd say if you are aware, or, if you use the Amiga computer, and I would use it as a test because it literally, if you learned how that system operated, it actually made you understand computing much better than if you worked out of just a Windows environment. So you had a creative spark to you that I noticed. But it's too long ago, so the younger people won't have any idea what it is.
Right. Well, I mean, you say like the Amiga is like comparable to like the what is it, Linux and LexisNexis, like that quality, like are above,
Well,
like that's like the best.
it would be it's a Windows environment. Just like you have open up an icon, and a window appears, and you move the icons around, and launch a program. That's all that same interface all came from Xerox, and Jay Miner was one of the four people that invented Amiga, and the grandfather figure. He was an old Unix guy, and also developer of hardware, designing chips and things like that. And he went there and visited Xerox, and so did Steve Jobs, and so did Bill Gates. All of them went there and saw the Xerox system, and all of them took it and went different directions, right? But it was so. In that way, it was the same, but its environment was completely different. It's a different feeling. Just like if you're on a Windows system or a Mac system, they're different, right? and you could say if you want to categorize, the people that are only know Windows and categorize the people that only knew Mac, you would have some generalities to say about them. Well, it would be the same with if you threw Amiga into the mix. But the Amiga was the first place that multimedia came from. The term multimedia was generated on the Amiga. Multitasking, where the system actually does multiple things at the same time. Even today, you don't have what they call true preemptive multitasking environments. They're still just time sharing. They kind of split up the time, divide up the processor, and it's also wastes a lot of time too because the processor sometimes is not even used when it's being shared. Right? So, so these things are more. It was more of an organic feel. So, I don't know if we should reminiscing too much about this tech kind of stuff, but it does lend itself to we have a new generation of people out there that are in tech, and a lot of them are in a box, and only very few of them really can create outside of those boxes, and it's uh, and that's a shame. Because before, a lot more creative things would occur. Anyway, all right. What anything that's else we should concentrate on is Thomas. I guess he had his show going on. So I'll catch up. Did you end up relaying my message to Thomas about coming on and discussing Swiss Indo? Hello. Hello. Space Command to Galactic Unicorn. Come in, Galactic Unicorn. On that note, right? Uh, well, I can go check and see if there's any questions hanging out. If there's any questions, we put a Q there in front of the questions in the chat room and state your question. I'm not reading through everything, just looking for the Qs. Where's one from Diana? Tank, are you going to be putting your videos in your YouTube page? I don't know what the extra G there is for, but yeah, I don't know. He's not here to answer, and he dropped off. Maybe trying to get back on. Send Tui the link. Okay, I'll do that. Sorry about that, Tui. Okay, Tui, you have the link. Tank drops off, and Tui comes on. That's a good way to go. See if we get an update from Tui. Oh, so you heard 350 M for one T note the 100 T note of Zim. 350 million. Wow. I'm so rich. I'm telling you. I got so many of those. I traded for cryptocurrency. I traded TBC coin for Zims. Question. 3 Qs. Send to what that's not a question. Tui has the link. Where's Tui? All right. So Ian saying, I heard Zim make great fire lighters. Yeah, I talked with Tango. I said, I can come on and I can burn some Zim on camera, right? Uh, but decided not to do it. Okay. Question, Dan. Since this segment, Dank Live, is shorter, I would suggest that you begin to send Tui the link just when you're sending it to Tank. I normally do that, but the last segment ran long with Robert coming on, and I was going around getting some things done. I also grabbed breakfast in between, so I came back and I had sent it out to Tank, and I left, and then I came back on, and then, so it's one of those things. So I do try to get the link out to Tui, but normally also I like to give it out to him, after we've been on for a little while, so we can get the updates on and then send it to Tui. But it's okay. When we get, into doing updates and things like that, it's sometimes it can go much longer than and sometimes shorter. It's kind of disappointing to see that the IT guys are now the ones that are the problem. And after IT guys are settled, then it's going to be the janitors. After the janitors are no longer the problem, then we're okay. I don't think anyone else is there. Okay, another question. What was the update from Tank? Okay, the update from Tank was that Kim did bypass the people problem and got it into the account, but then the tech people reversed it and sent it back to Kim. Just on the just a question. If you are just the one there interrupting and deciding to send things back, and you have these transfers that are coming in, and your role is to take it out of someone's account that was wanting to receive it from a place where it was legitimate funds being moved in. Why are you stopping it? Why are you in the position of reversing it? Basically. Keep getting knocked out. They won't let me listen. Uh, Sorry, Kevin. Yeah, no, I did not see Thomas's intel. It's kind of difficult for me to do that, right? I'm on a broadcast, so. But yeah, why would? But I'm just asking a question. Anyway, I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and end this here. We can come back again and looking at these questions and cover it when Tank to come back on. And until tomorrow, have everyone a good day. Remember to subscribe, give a thumbs up, leave a positive comment, no negative comments, no trolling needed. All right, bye bye.